If you're looking for live local music from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, you came to the right place. Welcome to Hugh Shows.
We're all at the Hugh Show. It's a lot of fun. He's got all the answers. Yeah, he's got them written down. So let's all watch a Hugh Show till he gets to number one. Yeah.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your host, Hugh Twyman, and I have been writing a music and photography blog in Pittsburgh for 16 years. Check me out at HughShows.com and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at HughShows. My musical guest for this edition of Hugh Show's Social Distance Television is Joel Jerome, a prolific songwriter, musician, engineer, and producer whose dreamy psych features wide background choirs full of reverb and warm vintage guitar sounds. Based in Los Angeles, Joel frequently creates music with friends or solo for their label Psychedelic Thriftstore Recordings. I first discovered and eventually befriended Joel through their music with their band Dios Malos, one of a handful of groups that was the impetus for me starting Hugh Shows in the early aughts. And would you please welcome my homie and yours, Papa Joel Jerome. Joel, what's up?
Hello. How's it going? Good.
How are you?
Good. Hunker down.
Yeah. Yeah, hunker down. I wanted to mention that, but I wanted to mention first off that I've been doing Hugh Shows for a while now and the TV show for 5 years, and it's only Pittsburgh music because I usually do it in a studio down in Pittsburgh. But since this pandemic, I thought, I should reach out to some of the musicians I would love to have on. And since you're in LA and we're doing the time difference here, and it's 11 p.m. or 11:30 p.m. in Pittsburgh, and it's 8:30 p.m. in Los Angeles. So I appreciate you doing this, man. I really do.
No problem. My first Zoom show. So
right on.
You're the first.
We'll make it easy on you. So you mentioned the pandemic. How are you handling the pandemic?
You know what? I mean, we've been incredibly lucky. We're good. Thankfully, honestly, the little joke is that nothing's really changed for us because we don't really do anything else. We don't go out too much. We don't go to bars. We don't do a lot of stuff outside of the house otherwise. But, it is kind of strange not seeing like my mom or some other friends here and there playing some shows at least once a month. But honestly, I mean, I have a nice place at a lot of rooms, a little doggy and my partner. And I have a downstairs studio, my garage that I just work out of anyway. So it's pretty much the same, but now I just have actual time to do things. So it's been a strange blessing in a way. I don't like to say that necessarily because of all the stuff that's going down that's negative, but I'm trying to make the most of it,
Have you found that, and I've talked to a couple of musicians in this situation, that, hey, we're chilling at home, I'm not hating it, but creatively, do you find that you might have too much time on your hands, or is this not a problem for you?
Well, I guess it's weird. Now it seems like I'm making a lot more busy work than I would be. Like normally, like I'm remixing things that maybe don't need to be remixed or whatever, because I feel like, well, I got time to do it now. But honestly, it's come at a good time. I was in between a lot of things, working on other projects for a long time, other people's projects. Like you said, I produce and engineer other things, and so my work's been on the back burner for a bit. So I've actually been using that time to catch up on my stuff. And it's been good for that reason. But yeah, I mean, there's some days where I feel like maybe I'm forcing myself to do something and where I should just kind of not do anything. But it's just strange times all the way around. It's kind of every day's blurring now into each other. That first week was really crazy. Like it seemed like a long week. That very first week everything was happening. But ever since then, it's been like a blur. So
right,
yeah.
I feel the same way. Like that first week was like it felt like a month, and I was like on edge and I was scared and nervous and, afraid to do anything. And
right.
I still am cautious. I have two daughters here, and they're working from home through school, college, and high school. And so I was just like a madman. I'm like, no, you can't touch your face. No, even inside the house. But now I think it's like I'm not relaxing, but I'm just less anxious.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to get to a bunch of topics, but first we're going to hear some performances, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
Yeah, cool. This first song is called When You Land, and when did you write this?
This one was written in December.
Oh, okay,
yeah, it's I can tell you after the song, there's a little story behind all of it, but it's pretty interesting. So yeah, back in December, it's pretty new.
Okay, cool. So this is called When You Land, and take it away.
Will I be there when you finally land? 'Cause I've been looking up into the sky. You're low on fuel, it seems. I hope you're not a dream, 'cause I've been staying up late every night. I don't wanna wait forever, but I will try. If you ask me now, I won't know why. But I'll be here up all night. Will I be there when you finally land? 'Cause I've been looking up into the sky. You're low on fuel, it seems. I know you're not a dream, 'cause I've been staying up late every night. I don't wanna wait forever, but I will try. If you want me now, I don't know why. If you're coming down, I'll be there when you crash. I'll always be right by your side. But will you be on mine?
All right. That was Joel Jerome with When You Land. And recently written a couple months ago. What's that song about?
Um, that's an interesting question. I'm not really sure. It's sort of like a stream of consciousness type of thing. The way I wrote it, I basically challenged myself to write a song a day for 2 weeks because I had a little meeting with a label that wanted to hear new songs, and they said they wanted to hear new, brand new songs. I have a habit of like re-recording old songs or whatever, but and just do something very simple and record it on my phone. They wanted to hear songs in their basic forms or whatever. So I basically mined some of my voice notes, for little riffs here and there, and picked one every night and fleshed it all out in one night along with the lyrics and stuff. So it's hard to say what they were necessarily about. I might have come up with a theme that night, maybe saying this is going to be about this. It has touches of like maybe I don't want to be so dramatic, but like drug abuse and like coming down from bad moments, bad areas or whatever, being there for somebody or wanting to be there for somebody when they come back from something bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what it feels like it's mostly about.
Let's speaking of drug abuse, and I was going to talk about this later, but when I was with you, or not with you, but when I was seeing you 2005, 2006, 2007, you and your music you were a strong proponent for marijuana. Like, you didn't hide it. It was like no secret at all. And back then it was totally illegal across the country. Now in California, I guess it's been several years. Is it like, does it seem quaint how we all used to feel about that, or what's your thoughts on that?
I don't know. I feel like everyone's just caught up with it. I mean, I knew even back then it was harmless. I mean, not harmless, but it's just not as bad as what people would think it is. And so, it was just super. There's a lot of just negative feelings about it that I just didn't agree with. It's just like, it's a recreational thing. It's less, I think, less harmful than alcohol. It was a way to relax, as a way to kind of stimulate my brain artistically. So, I mean, I used it in that way. It was never any kind of crutch for anything else. So I don't know. It's just interesting to have it now. Everyone now like sees the benefits of it, not just recreationally, but physically and, health, for health reasons and stuff. So I'm just glad that people caught up and are fine with it.
Yeah, so it's like, were you ever paranoid back then? Like, oh man, we got to be, we don't want to get busted. But now it's just like so silly. I mean, it's funny. I think back now, especially those tours in early 2000s, right after 9/11. I'm thinking, what were we thinking traveling with some of this stuff, But like, it didn't occur to me back then. I really didn't think much of it. We weren't carrying around pounds and pounds of it either. But you would think now my older self would probably be more anxious about it. But I guess back then I didn't really think too much about it. Like I said, it was just recreational. We weren't like smoking blunts every 5 minutes. It was something when we got to a club, or maybe for a long drive, I hit one up, before we left and put on some good music. It was just a recreational thing. Right. I think, and I think that stems from the war on drugs in the early 80s, and this pounding into our conscious, like drugs are bad, all drugs are bad, whatever. But Carl Wallinger from World Party, he was a proponent of it too back then, and he was like, look, I'm not going to be smoking weed and riding through the middle of downtown urban street with a truck full of nitroglycerin, but if I'm rolling in the sack with my partner, and what's the harm, so yeah, it's kind of crazy, the thoughts here. In Pennsylvania, it's still not legal, but we have dispensaries and we have medical marijuana, so it's, the tide is turning. It's amazing. Yeah,
slowly but surely. I mean, once people know it's not as it is, and you just do it responsibly, it could be fine.
Right. And I agree with you. It's alcohol is a lot worse in a way, in many ways, in almost every way. So, so I contacted you a couple days ago, actually, out of the blue, and you got back to me right away and said, you know what, I was just thinking of you. Like just happenstance, and then that day, I guess you were on the blog and seeing old blog posts and stuff, and it was like, I'm so glad this worked out. It's like,
yeah, it was kind of kismet. I don't know, like I forgot what I was searching for, but an old Dios Malos, webpage, a blog a blog that you did, I guess, we wrote about, and it came up that day, and I was like, and then that night, I got a message from you, which is like, I take those things pretty serious. As that happens, it's meant to be.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Absolutely. This is so cool. You mind playing another song?
Not at all.
Okay, this song is called Time to Be Quiet.
Right.
And how new is this or old is this one?
Same sessions.
Oh, all three of these are the same sessions?
Yep, all these are all brand new songs. I don't think I've played them live for anybody.
Woohoo! I love exclusives, man. I love them. All right, so this is called Time to Be Quiet, and take it away.
If I love myself too much, will I know when to stop? Or will I deny myself forever? There's a time and place for thoughts, but never before you talk. Will you know it's time to be quiet? Well, you know it's time to listen. I'm afraid I don't hear you anymore. I'm afraid I don't hear you at all. Will I ever hear you say those words? I was wrong. Guess it's not right now, and I'm finding out it's never. I'm afraid I don't hear you anymore. I'm afraid I don't hear you at all. So hard to block out all the noise. Will it ever stop? Am I gonna hear it forever? I will look into the space between all of my thoughts. Will I find it there? Will I know when, where? Will it come to me in a dream, or will it be right here, really crystal clear? Will it only be a moment, or will it be for years? Will it stop my fears? Will it make me tear? Will I only know it when it's here? I'm afraid I don't hear you anymore. I'm afraid I don't want you at all. If I love myself too much, will I know when to stop?
That was another brand new song, a HughShows exclusive from Joel Jerome called Time to Be Quiet. And this is awesome, man. This is so great. Before I want to get into, talk about serendipity. 2 nights ago, I'm watching a movie, and it's called The Giant Mechanical Man.
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why I was watching it, because it was a pretty dumb romantic comedy, but 2 songs come up that I recognize from Diaz Malos, and one of them is Meeting People, my favorite song of yours of all time. And
That's awesome.
yeah, I couldn't believe it. How does that come about?
Well, that was a long time ago too. I forget what year that actually happened.
2012 it came out.
Is it okay? Yeah. You know, I don't even know. I know we just probably got an email asking to use a song for a couple songs for a movie or a small independent movie. I think it was called at the time.
Yeah.
And I think actually we got them. We got the email from the actress. I forget her name now, but
Jenna
you know,
Fisher. She's
yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah.
Office.
She actually is the one that reached out. I think it was her project. So she was like, you know, trying to like, you know, just get us to let her use those songs. And we're like, of course, yeah. And you know, it was flattering. I mean, if you want to use our songs for anything, it's great, and we get a little money for it, then that's even better. You know.
Yeah.
But it
And
was.
I know that you were well. She produced the movie because her husband directed it. So
Mhm.
yeah, but it's great. Like, and I know one of your songs were on the OC,
Yeah.
like years ago.
Mhm.
You know, and how many checks are you getting from that? Are they rolling in?
Who knows? I mean, who knows? I mean, it all like gets, you know, it all gets contributed to the fund of you know, the royalty fund or whatever that comes, those big massive checks I get every few months. I'm joking about them being massive, but you know, till this day, I still think that I get something from them. You know, it's always nice to get, like I said, that kind of stuff and that money coming in, because it's one of the few ways musicians can make money nowadays at all. So I
So
appreciate it.
yeah, no, that's awesome. Like I said, it was just like, oh my gosh, you know, this is great. So it might have been the impetus for me to reach out to you, you know, because
Hmm.
it was fresh in my mind. But in the
Cool.
credits, it has meeting people, and I know
Mhm.
your brother, he wrote the
Mhm.
lyrics.
He wrote the song. Yeah, he
He
wrote the
wrote the
song.
lyrics and the
Hmm.
music, but there
Hmm.
is a credit to Ian Burns Fury,
Oh, right, right, right.
and
See, I
who?
don't know if that was him doing something weird back in the day, but I remember we've had this issue because I've had to go to ASCAP or whatever it is and be like, who's this Ian's, you know, whatever that name you
Burns
just said.
Fury, yeah.
Because, yeah, he has basically all of Kevin's songs are also attributed to him. So I don't know if that's maybe something he did as a joke and he's that guy. I have no idea really, but maybe we should look into that. But I
Yeah.
saw that too and I thought that was a very strange thing and very strange name, but I still don't know why.
Does he still make music on his own?
You know, actually, we started work together a little bit again too. I mean, obviously he's my brother; I just see him all the time. But he's got the fire again to record and do some music. And just recently, a few months ago, we started doing some of his songs, and I helped him record some things. And he wants to do some things more at home now. So, you know, he hasn't been doing it as much as I have. Obviously, I've made it my career for right now. He's been doing other things, but he's very talented, and I'm glad he's doing it again, or like at least wants to. So he'll be doing some more stuff hopefully soon.
That's great to hear. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, so this is your main job. You're a musician, you're an engineer, but your studio it's in your crib and
Hmm.
you call it Psychedelic Thrift Store.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I produce, but I don't necessarily just only work out of there. It depends on the schedule of the schedule, the budget of the band. So if they have a budget, we go to a studio that they could afford. So whatever that is, we can do. But because I work with bands that are like, you know, younger, starting out, their first thing, their funds are low, then we do most of the stuff at my place or somewhere else. I can get a super cheap rate.
Uh-huh.
But I have it set up for myself, so I can do whatever I want. And my everything's there: my drums, my piano, my guitars, my tape machine. So it's all set up for a good little thing. It's not acoustically perfect like a real studio would be, but it's got a lot of mojo, so it does the job.
Awesome. Yeah, no. And you're putting out singles, you're putting out music all the time, and like you said, like sometimes it's like re-recordings of old songs that you have, sometimes it's
Yeah,
like covers, sometimes it's just new ideas, you know. And yeah, I'm going to have your Bandcamp listed down on the bottom at various times throughout the interview so people could check it out. Um,
great.
yeah. And so besides that, you know, it's like you're living the dream of a musician.
The dream of doing it, yes, and surviving, yes. I sort of wish the dream also included more security, you know, financial security with it, especially with this, like the COVID thing, has definitely put things in perspective too, as far as like what the, you know, what the role is and how appreciated the musician is in this world. It's just interesting how everyone's suffering, obviously, no matter what you're doing and what your job was. It's pretty much been put to a halt, but musicians were already skating on such thin ice,
Right.
and it seems like the very near future is going to be very hard to do anything for a while. So it's just going to make it even harder. But you know, I do, like I said, I still feel lucky. I have what I have set up, and you know, a lot of it I have set up because I've made myself, you know, have such low overhead, made my life be able to fit what I wanted to do. But it's not easy for everybody, and it's definitely not going to be easy going forward. But it's just, I find it interesting that, like, you know, the first thing that people do when stuff like this happens is turn to music, whether it's for benefits or whether it's for some kind of comfort. But yet music and musicians are the ones that pretty much get paid last, if at all, you know. Right. So I hope that changes somehow. I really do. The streaming revenue and other types of things, because the money's out there. The love of music is ubiquitous everywhere. It's used on everything your life involves it. So I hope that sometime soon, you know, the creators can start benefiting from it financially and not feel like they're just, you know, barely treading water.
No, I hear you, man. It's I'm within the scene in Pittsburgh, and you know, the most talented musicians I know, you know, they're just like barely getting by, working 2 jobs and trying to do this, you know, as their outlet, or, you know, as their spark. But it's scary all the way. Yeah, this is gonna hopefully this will change the, you know, perception of many different aspects of life. Like, I'm a teacher, and we're all trying to teach these students online, and nobody knows what they're doing. So it's like, you know, are teachers valued now, or they're just like, you know, screaming for a higher pay on the picket line sometimes. So I don't know, you know, something profound is going on. So hopefully we could get on the other side of it with a positive thing. You know? Yeah. You're going to play one more song, and this is the last new song that you're going to play, and this is called "Everybody Come On." Yeah, and I was looking up your discography. You have a lot of everybody's in your song titles.
I guess you're right. I've noticed that, and a lot of like I'm, or, you know, me, or it's just like, I don't know. I don't really I try not to think about the lyrics and titles anymore, like really overthink it. I'm like, I'll just name it what it is. But you're right. It's a lot of everybody's, but
there's a couple everybody's. And speaking of like stream of conscience, I remember way back when you said one of your songs, like you just did it on the fly, and that's the recorded version off the album. And
I think actually I remember talking to you too about it, about even performing. Sometimes I just make up lyrics on the spot, because either I'd never had firm lyrics or I just forgot them, or because I might have been too high to remember them. But you know, I would just make up stuff on the spot too for every live show, and so it's just become something I just do. I just feel especially when I write music personally, I just like I'm more about the melody and the harmony and all that stuff. So the words kind of like are secondary, but I just say the words kind of take shape along with the music. It's not really like I'm trying to say something. So that's just how they develop, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was specifically it was for No Dance Now off the second album.
Right. Well, yeah, that was acid though.
Yeah.
That was definitely, I remember that day like it was yesterday. I took acid. That was in my 4-track, and I think it might have even been raining, and I just went for it. And for one take, I did everything, lyrics and everything. It's been the same way forever. So, it worked.
So that when you would play it live, you would just like, I hope these are the right ones or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Well, actually, I went back and I wrote out whatever I actually said and memorized those. So for the most part, I know those lyrics because I don't know, they don't make sense, but I remember what they are. So
hey, they make sense to me.
Cool.
Yeah. So this is called "Everybody Come On." And take it away. Cool. Here we go. All right.
Everybody love me, yeah, come on. Nobody will ever beat me, come on. If all my fans are lazy, I still play the show for you, maybe. If my own mom won't sing my songs, life will go on for me, baby. Everybody love me, yeah, come on. Pre-sale doesn't matter, come on. Now I'm rethinking my future. Will I turn into a moocher? If all my dreams don't come true, were they for me or were they for you? Everybody know me, yeah, come on. Don't pretend you haven't heard, yeah, come on. If you feel like I'm a failure, you must be a big drug inhaler. I don't exactly know where I belong. I keep moving on, it really don't matter. Everybody love me, yeah, come on. Nobody can tell me why though, come on. They call me a local legend until they need someone to credit. But that's okay, cause they all sing my songs, and before too long I'll be famous.
And that was called Everybody Come On. And Joel, I can't thank you enough for doing this. I really can't.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Anytime. You're part of my my past, and I'm glad we got to reconnect and do this.
I am so glad too.
It's like going out there. I haven't been touring in a while, so I've been wanting to go out there for a while.
Yeah. So our history is you like I discovered your album, and you were coming through town, and I saw you, and it was basically a new band. No, not too many people were there. The opening band, Swords, they were late. And we actually saw them drive by the club in the van, and they said, screw it, we're going on to the next. I think they dropped off the tour. And then,
right.
Yeah, and then in 2007, I saw you open for Matt Pond, PA at the same club, and it was the Late Show, and it was a nice crowd there, but and then, or that was 2006, and then 2007, the third and last time, it was like the day before 4th of July, and I was like, hey, we're going to see this band, and I wasn't even driving; it was my brother driving or whatever, and we saw half your set, and I'm like, hey, let's hang out, and my brother's like, no, I want to go see another band, and I'm like, forget that other band, and I couldn't, I had to go with him. I was so pissed, but
yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I remember there's some fun out there. Fatheads, like I said, I remember having a good sandwich out there. I remember one of the shows we played, we were like hanging out by our van, and someone right in front of the club, and I know this girl parked behind us and hit our fender, and we're like, what are you doing? And she just didn't care. She's like, whatever. She went to some club or whatever. So I remember we I think we did we fucked with one of her tires, and so that was our payback. But I remember that story. It's pretty funny. I was like,
wow, I didn't know that.
Okay, yeah. Welcome to Pittsburgh, but it was cool.
Well, I appreciate seeing you and you doing this, and I hope you're safe. And yeah, it was really great catching up to you, and thanks so much for playing.
Likewise. Whenever this comes out, let me know, and I'll make sure the masses see it on my end. And I appreciate you reaching out. And I'm sure I'll send you more music once it's ready to go.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much, and thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. You could check me out at HughShows.com. Follow me on them socials, and I usually end the program with hashtag support Pittsburgh music, but we're gonna go with support Psychedelic Thrift Store music.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.
We have a way of explaining things to Hugh. Yeah, we have a way of explaining things to Hugh. Yeah, we have a way of explaining things to you.